Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a text that tells three really distinct stories. One about action, one about mercy, and one about purpose, and weaves them all into one powerful narrative. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start with a pretty high-stakes mission. Then we'll pivot to a universal question that leads to a very famous story, and we'll wrap it all up by zooming into a quiet, personal dilemma. So our first story kicks off with a really dramatic and, let's be honest, a genuinely dangerous assignment. This is not some casual request. It's a full-on deployment into some pretty uncertain territory. I mean, what a line, right? That instruction immediately sets the tone. It just tells you everything you need to know about the incredible vulnerability and the risk involved here. They aren't being sent as conquerors. They're being sent as something fragile into a hostile world. So, how many people are we talking about? 72. And they were sent out in pairs to go ahead to all the towns and villages Jesus was planning to visit. You see what's happening here, right? The instructions they were given, well, they're a radical exercise in dependence. By taking nothing with them, they were literally forced to rely completely on the hospitality of strangers. Their message was their only currency. So, you send a bunch of people out with no supplies, like lambs to the wolves. How does that turn out? Well, maybe not how you'd expect. The mission didn't end in disaster. In fact, the outcome was something else entirely, and it came with a really surprising lesson about what truly matters. They came back and they were absolutely buzzing. The mission was a huge success. They were so excited, reporting that even the demons submit to us in your name. You can just feel their newfound sense of power and accomplishment. But then, right in the middle of their celebration, Jesus just hits the brakes. He completely recalibrates their perspective. He tells them the real reason to be happy isn't about their external power or what they've done, but their internal identity. This is a huge clue. It's a shift from what you can do to who you are. And this idea, this theme of substance over performance, leads us right into the heart of the chapter. An expert in religious law comes up, and he's not really there to learn. He's there to test Jesus with a question he thinks he already has the answer to. It's a huge question, right? He's asking about the fundamental requirement for salvation. But his motive, we're told, is to justify himself, basically to prove that he's already got it all figured out. So Jesus turns the question right back at him, and the expert, he knows his stuff. He perfectly recites the two greatest commandments. He's got the right answer. But he's not satisfied. He wants to find a loophole in that second command. See, this is where he's looking for an out. He's essentially asking, okay, who do I have to love and who can I ignore? Where's the line? And this question, which was meant to be a trap, actually sets up one of the most famous stories ever told. So in response, Jesus doesn't give him a simple definition. Nope. He tells a story, and this story is designed to completely shatter all the neat little boxes the expert has built around his ideas of identity and duty. Now, think about the characters here, a priest and a Levite. These were the religious insiders, the people you would absolutely expect to help, but they walk on by. The hero of the story is a Samaritan, a person from a rival culture who would have been seen as an enemy by the expert's people. And this is how the story redefines neighbor. It's not about who someone is, it's about what you do. The Samaritan's compassion is active, it's selfless, it's costly. He doesn't just do the bare minimum. He makes sure the man has a path to complete recovery. And this is the genius part. Jesus completely flips the expert's question. He doesn't answer who is my neighbor. He asks which one of these three was a neighbor. And the answer is obvious, the one who showed mercy. So the final instruction isn't an abstract idea. It's a command. It's a direct, personal call to action. Now, you'd think we'd end there, on that powerful command to act. But the chapter pivots one last time. It takes us off the dangerous public road and into an intimate, private home. And here, it presents a final, crucial question about devotion itself. So we meet two sisters. Martha is all about active service, all the crucial work of hospitality. Mary, however, chooses quiet, receptive attention. You have this tension between doing for Jesus and being with him. Well, a frustrated Martha complains, and Jesus' response is pretty surprising. He doesn't dismiss her work, but he gently points out her worried distraction. Just like he told the disciples not to rejoice in their power, he tells Martha that anxious activity isn't the main goal. He affirms Mary's choice, suggesting that the focused act of just listening and being present is the one thing that's truly needed. It's the foundation for everything else. So when you put it all together, you realize these three stories aren't disconnected at all. They form a single cohesive argument. You go from the large-scale action of the 72 disciples to the personal, compassionate intervention of the Samaritan, and you finally land on the crucial internal mindset of Mary. Each story builds on the last. So which path is the most important? Mission, mercy, or mindset? Well, the text doesn't give us a simple answer. It leaves us with this dynamic tension. The call is to engage in courageous action like the 72, to show radical mercy like the Samaritan, and to cultivate a focused presence like Mary. The ultimate question it leaves us with isn't which one to choose, but how are we meant to integrate all three of these essential paths, the doing, the helping, and the being, in our own lives?